Hello, I'd like to show you the Flower Ladies journal. This is a journal that I made on Sundays, so it won't be for sale. She is about 10.5 inches tall and 7 3/4 wide. She has 3 signatures, and she's a little over 2 1/8 in the spine inches. I have a similar journal to this listed on Etsy already, because when I made the other one I just thought, oh my goodness, I like the size and I like this fabric, but the centerpiece on the other one is a, what is it, I think it's needlepoint or cross stitch, whereas this one is a picture from a gift book, and the lady's holding her, looks like maybe an art journal or a book on her lap, a little dog beside her, and there's a sea in the background and flowers, and it's like, oh yeah, everything about that picture I love. Although I have cats, I do love dogs. This is vintage, vintage doily, vintage rickrack, and yeah, this underneath, I think that was vintage as well. The back just left plain, the fabric. It's one of my usual silk sample notebooks with some tea-dyed paper inside. And I've created a pocket at the front and the back using some vintage, I don't know what to call this, dresser scarf or doily. And I made a journal card out of a book page and added a little cluster of journal tags there. I would say this is eclectic. So it's got lots of flowers and that in it, but there's odds and ends in here that I put because I didn't think that it was a good idea to put them in a journal that was for sale. Like this odd little cluster here, this was from some thread, and I put a little vintage button there, almost like a little flower. Yeah, I had fun with this one. Adventurous with it. In this pocket I've got a piece of tea-dyed paper for journaling on. This pocket I have a journal card because I subscribed to a newsletter from Scrapbooking with Me, and this was one of the freebies. There's several of them in here, so this is a one I printed out and put onto tea-dyed cardstock. And here's a little reminder of hope. Journaling space from a journal. And yeah, homemade by me, of course. It's one of my wax seals. It turned out not that well, but because this is my journal, that doesn't matter. It has character, that's for sure. This page, I attached some journaling spots in here rather than just tucking them in. And I put a couple of tags in here, a bookmark, and a little tag there. That's for journaling on, because there's a large bookmark here. So rather than putting on a spine dangle, I just put a loveliness onto the bookmark. I made a pocket out of some cardstock and a couple of little tags. And as usual, they're blank on the back for journaling. And this was, I don't know, it was vintage stationery, but this was already looking old, so I thought it would be fun to make it into a page in here. And it was like an envelope. And so I've, used every bit of it, turned it into an interesting page, I think. I use some fabric sample cluster thing to make pockets here, and in each of the pockets I've got something. It's a little booklet made out of scraps and some really old paper. And a little journaling space here made from vintage playing card. This is from, I think that's from a greeting card too. I love Lily of the Valley. They are taking over one of my flower beds. I don't mind because I love how they smell and how they look. And they remind me of the Lily of the Valley. And the Bright and Morning Star. And there's a bookmark I made out of napkin. It's been decoupaged onto cardstock. And here's another one of those journal cards from Scrapbooking with Me. And then this flips down. You can see another tuck spot here, journal card, and that's tuck spot there too. And in here I put a little journal card as well. And here I've got tea-dyed wrapping paper. And here's an image from a book. Thought that was adorable. There's some vintage, not seam binding. What's the other thing that I have lots of? Bias tape. And on this side, I put a little booklet that kind of hangs over the page, and it's got tea-dyed paper in it, and a little picture of angels, some tea-dyed ribbon, and I hold it on with this little mini clip there. And this is sparkly paper that's been tea-dyed with a pattern in it from one of my plastic doilies. And this is an image from, I think it was a gardening magazine. I like that. And that's from an Anna Green Gables journal. And I was really happy to find this. They were missing some cards, but that didn't matter to me. And it was mushrooms, playing cards. So I put a little journal card there to go with it. Little tag here. And that opens up for journaling here and here. And a little tag here made out of old concordance paper. And this is from a vintage book that I read to my kids when we were homeschooling about nature. And this was a card I got from a thrift store that somebody had made, and I thought it was sweet. I tea-dyed it, but otherwise it's just as it was. There's some stenciling I did with pencil crayon, I think. And there's a stamp of birds, and that's journaling paper there. And I think the way this feels, that's probably from Sugar Bag. It's extra thick. I saved the sugar bags and have fun with them. Here I made a journal card with some extra writing space from a greeting card. It's a card that my husband had given me. He sometimes purposely buys me cards that he knows I'll have fun making things out of. I think that's sweet. And there's one of my, see, I debuted them in the last journal, I think, if I'm remembering right. And that is Yo-Yo with a little vintage button there. And this is a picture that I took here in the background. You can see there's a chair by a cedar bench by a pond. And then I added this here. It's one of my favorite verses. I'm working on a couple of journals for sale, but I'm not rushing because there's a postal strike. So I'm using it as an opportunity just to slow down take care of myself. Maybe spend more time in the garden. And this is from a Dayspring magazine. That was there. Oh, I left it on there. I think this is maybe a book page. I don't remember. And then I made some, this says flower here. And I made, it's kind of full washi tape. You just put tape on a book page and you can pick up some of the words. So I thought that was fun. Here's some journaling space there. And I think this is from, I don't remember. Oh yeah, this is a local artist, but I got this at the thrift store and I tea dyed it. I thought that was a really sweet picture. I love the colors. And this button here is so old, it's crackling. Some stamping that matches the color there and the bird theme. Little tag in this pocket. And this here is from a card. And again, I've got, these are attached in here for journaling. Ultra paper clip, looks like an old paper clip too, good quality. There's that ticket idea I got from Jillian at Rustic Journals. She just listed a journal, I think yesterday or today, that's lovely. That's from a greeting card. And yeah, and here's the bookmark that can be placed any place in the journal. And then I put some tea dye paper on the back for journaling. This is a fabric sample. I was given these years ago. And this is from the Anne of Green Gables journal. Oh, blankets. Cozy, cozy. Definitely need them this time of year. And again, this is attached. Lovely lace. This is a birthday card that I got on my 18th birthday. A little notebook made from scraps. And a tally card. And there's one of my wax seals that turned out kind of odd, but hey, doesn't it go great on this page? Yeah. Love this picture, so pretty. That's from England, it was from Friends of the Family. And I thought this is sweet. That's actually I think that's a European robin. Our robins are different. Ours are pretty, but they're not as cute. Little cluster here, and there's a spot here for a card, and a little hummingbird stamped on here. This is from a gift book. This is from packaging. Turned that into a journal spot. Another one of those cards. Aren't they lovely? Yeah, scrapbooking with me. She's got a nice channel. She's one of the very first channels I followed. And this card here, oh yeah. This is a Christmas card that I got in the 70s, and it's from a dear friend of mine she's on the other side now. I thought this was sweet. And that's from a magazine. This is a part of an old book. Made it into a belly band, and this is, I think this is vintage wrapping paper. And there's a playing card there, turned into a pocket. And I had this hanging on my fridge. I think it was either after my firstborn was born or when I was pregnant, but I thought that was sweet. And he did turn out to be a little chubby baby too. He was a biggie. And this was on the other side. So that's, yeah, that would be vintage. And on here I put a quote. To me, this was probably the most important quote regarding parenting that I tried to subscribe to. Ultimately, the key to competent parenthood is being able to get behind the eyes of your child, seeing what he sees and feeling what he feels. When he is lonely, he needs your company. When he's afraid, he needs the comfort of your embrace. When he is curious, he needs your patient instruction. When he is happy, he needs to share his laughter and joy with those he loves. Seeing behind the eyes of your child. And you know, seeing behind the eyes of your mate, seeing behind the eyes of your neighbor, your friend, whoever. And learning to disagree with gentleness and respect when you do disagree, right? This was funny. I kept wondering why I was stamping it upside down, and then I looked at the stamp and realized that the words, the side that showed you what was on the bottom, was not in the same direction. So then I instead of covering up, I left it because I thought, yeah, if life's boring, make something up. That just made me smile. Here's an envelope I made from, what is this? I don't remember. And that's from Dayspring magazine too. Little cluster here. This is really old. This is from the back of an old picture. And then I guess it was protecting it in the frame. But I switched out the picture that was in the frame, so that's why I had this. But it already had the lines, so I thought, well, that's perfect for journaling on. Another one of those lovely journal cards from Scrapbooking with Me. Oh, and there's another one of my smooshed wax seals, but I still like it. Flower from my garden. Little cluster there. And another journaling pocket. Little tag made from a magazine picture. And this is from a really old book. And it had stuff in it that old nursery rhymes I didn't think were very polite. So I happily cut that book up. And made, this is a little kind of almost like a library card pocket I made from one of the pages. Journaling card there, tag. And I just layered the back of this with a cupcake liner. Some journaling space here. Oh yes, there's the happy birthday to me. Printed in the UK. Journaling space is there. And this here was something that my grandson did. I was so amazed. We were doing collaging. This was, I don't know how many years ago now. And he was just a toddler. And we were going to do a shell theme on his, and there was a shell on the other side of this. But then he saw on the other side this little child painting, and he went, oh no, we ripped them in half. And so while I was thinking about what to do, because he had chosen the other side, he glued it back in place, and look how close he got to gluing it perfectly. Yeah, I thought that was beautiful. So I saved that. And now it's a journaling spot. I was really impressed. His fine motor skills, they've always been really good. Card. Left blank for journaling. And I tea dyed it. Love hydrangeas. I dry them each fall. Nice thing about having like dried hydrangeas is when you go to replace the ones from the year before, you just break them up and throw them in your compost. Very eco-friendly. Another spot here where I've attached journaling papers. Another one of those cards. Really goes with this journal, these cards. That's why I use them in here. And here I made a pocket. Tuck spot pocket. And here I can journal as well. And this is made from origami paper. And this was one of the collages that I did when I was doing collaging with my grandson. Might have even been the one that I was working on when that little happy accident happened. Really old trim. I guess that's crochet. Beautiful. And it wasn't attached to anything when I got it. It was just in a little bag. And this is made from book page. And this is some journaling space here. And this collaging that I did, that's magazine pictures. And yeah, I love this card set. So I made a little booklet from that. This was from a book that I'd taken apart. The rest of the picture on this wasn't very nice, but I liked how this turned out, this piece that I'd pulled off. So I used it for a pocket, and it went with this and this. There's one of my little butterfly sketches, piece of music paper. I did this with, I think it was crayons, and then I scanned it, tea-dyed it. There's a little booklet here for journaling. And I sewed it together. Journaling space here. A little cluster on an old garden book page. Journaling spot here. Some leftover papers from a different project. And journaling space here and in here. Some more vintage trim. This is from Green Card. So there's lots of room in here for me to tuck keepsakes and things when I start using this journal for my morning writing time. And this here, I don't know what year this was, if it says anywhere on here, but it had Norman Rockwell prints in it. And that was something that I thrifted a while ago. Turned it into a keepsakey. So I've got, look at these cats. You know, I love my cats, but I could totally see them doing this if I left them unattended in the kitchen. If there was food out on the counters, they would totally do this. Yeah. And this, I guess this is homemade, and it was something I thrifted. It's a card for journaling. Made this little booklet out of tea-dyed paper. Some more journaling spots there. Oh, another one of my wax seals that turned out kind of crooked. But I actually love them in here. They definitely don't look commercial. And I had fun with this little page, just glued on some scraps to it. Journaling space, silent whispers. Ledger paper here. Card here for journaling. And this was from some packaging, or was it from a coaster? I can't remember, but it might have been a coaster. Just using scraps and doing odd little things with them for journaling. There's the other side of the envelope, and in there I've got some copies of pictures of the family in there. And what is this? Oh my goodness, this is sweet. This is a picture that my daughter drew when she was little. Her drawing is, she's matured into a very good drawer. She just sent me a picture on the weekend that she was working on. Beautiful. I did this as well with crayons. It's a journaling spot made to look like an envelope. And then I guess I must have put glitter on there, that glitter gluey stuff. Yeah, I've been working on this one for a while. It was just something I worked on Sundays. And this, I think, well, I'm not sure what this is about. I guess it's for scrapbooking, but I scratched it up to make it look a little older, and also so that when I write on it, it would show. Vintage safety pin or paper clip. Oh, and that was in there to stop the ink from getting on there, because that was one of the last things I inked. And you know, I'm going to probably save these papers that I use as my papers for protecting the journals, and maybe make a grungy journal out of them. There's a little journaling spot there, and another little journaling book here from some cute playing cards. And this, I forget who I got this idea from, but I wonder if I got it from Rustic Journals. I don't remember. But isn't that sweet? I don't remember how to do it, so I'm going to have to look in my favorites playlist, right? So if you want to know where I got that idea from, you probably have to look through my playlist list. And that's a journaling card made from a book page. There's that collage out of magazine pictures. And a little journaling card here. This is napkin put onto some paper, and I don't think I used Mod Podge on it, so this is actually quite fragile. It's not too late for me to do that. And here we've got a tuck spot. Here, the vintage button on it. Some tea-dyed cotton. And in here we've got some journal cards, different kinds of wildflower in there, all the way up to the top, and some more journaling space there, because I love these pages, but you can't journal on them easily unless you put gesso on them, and a tag. On the last page, I've got this. This was from an advertising for a book. I love the colors in this. And so I put it onto an envelope, which the envelope I sewed onto some fabric sample, which I lined with some tea-dyed paper and put in some tea-dyed papers. And I've got a little booklet. And here I made, what is this? Oh, it's a little booklet. Oh. And I gessoed on here so that I could write on it. Different. And a piece of, what was this? Not an address book. It's a journal. I gessoed on there for writing on it as well. And this is from a card that a friend had given me years ago. I think it was a friend, or yeah, because she knew that I liked purses and I like to make them. I hope I inspired you to make a journal for yourself. Maybe using those odds and ends that you're not so sure you should put into a journal that you're giving away or selling. It's fun. It's very, very relaxing, because you know you're doing something that you're totally not going to get judged on because you're not listing it for sale. It's just for you. Yeah, I really find that fun. I think now what I'm going to do instead of making Sunday journals is, oh, if I do, I might make some small ones, little ones for maybe for thank you gifts when I sell a journal. That's what I was thinking this morning. Because, oh no, I don't want to stop completely. Anyhow, take care. And for those of you that are getting ready for the holidays, oh, be kind to yourself, pace yourself, and don't forget to notice nature outside around you. Bye.